Good morning, and welcome to First Parish Church of Stowe and Acton, a welcoming spiritual community. My name is Mary Evans, and I serve on the Supporting Asylum Seekers Task Force. If this is your first time with us, we welcome you. I'd like to introduce our... That turned it off. I think that's it. I'll speak a little louder. Thank you. If this is your first time with us, we welcome you. I'd like to introduce our minister and a few of our staff and invite them to wave if they are present as they're named. Our minister is the Reverend Cindy Landrum. Our music director is Brad Dumont. Our welcoming and membership coordinator is Jolene Trotta. Our religious education director is Michelle Cote. Michelle's always on the move. She's not here at the moment. And the rest of our staff are listed in the order of service. Please feel free to ask any of these people for more information about the church and its programs after the service. We also invite you to check out our webpage for news and information, and you can sign up there for our newsletter and email alerts. After the service, it's our custom to have coffee hour. Our COVID protocols do not allow us to eat and drink in the building yet, but we're having social time in Fellowship Hall after the service. Please join us for conversation and to learn more about FPC. And for offsite people, we will have breakout rooms. Here are the major announcements. Spiritual conversations today at 12:45. Please see the bulletin or the website for further announcements and activities. But I do want to say that there are pins that you'll find for Transgender Visibility Day, which is on March 31st. They're available in the foyer and outside the connector door. Please take one after the service. You may now greet your neighbor.
Hello. Hello from Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Hi, Jane. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. If anyone wants to be renamed, text one of your co-hosts. We'll be happy to put your real name up.
Today we're joined by my choir, one of my choirs from Assumption University. This is our VOCE soprano alto ensemble. And we'll open today's service with a choral introit that is sung in both Hebrew and English. And Mia will sing the words in English, but you'll hear all the words in the chorus along the way. And we'll sing as loud as we can amidst the noise of the fans and everything.
What does that make me? If I
As we begin, we would like to acknowledge that this service is being held by a community that gathers on the stolen traditional lands of the Massachusetts, Nipmuc, Pawtucket, and Wampanoag people. We pay respect to elders who lost their lives in the colonization of this land and recognize that these indigenous tribes are still today facing violations of sovereignty, territory, and water. We also give thanks for the earth we walk upon, the waters, the life-giving plants, and all the earth's creatures, as well as the winds, sun, moon, and stars. We recognize this is just a first step in moving toward right relationship with Native peoples and healing the earth. Let us enter into a time of worship with these words by Emma Lazarus, who was a young poet and activist living in New York City in the 1880s. She was of Jewish descent and was working with immigrants in New York City when she wrote this poem as part of an arts festival that was raising funds for the Statue of Liberty's pedestal. She started by comparing Lady Liberty with a colossus, which is a larger-than-life statue. Most likely, she was thinking of the Colossus of Rhodes, which was about the height of the Statue of Liberty. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here at our sea-washed sunset gates shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep ancient lands your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuge of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. And now these chalice lighting words are by Melanie Davis. If ever there were a time for a candle in the darkness, this would be it. Using a spark of hope, kindle the flame of love, ignite the light of peace, and feed the flame of justice. Brad will now lead us in hymn 1056.
As you're getting out the teal hymnal with hymn 1056, just repeat after me. Thula. 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 Klizeo. Klizeo. Thula Klizeo. Thula Klizeo. Nala pasa. Nala pasa. Thula Klizeo. Thula Klizeo. Nala pasakia. Nala pasakia. Just listen to me once. Thula Klizeo. Nala pasakia. Thula Klizeo. Nala pasakia. Hekia nala pasakia, hekia nala pasakia. Stand and join us in Thula Klizeo.
Please join me in voicing our covenant.
Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant,
Morning, everyone. I'm Susie O'Brien. Now is the time in our service when we invite those present today to speak of a joy or concern that they want to share with the congregation. So please come forward if you wish, or speak from your seat and we can bring the microphone. Okay. I think that's it. So thank you all for sharing your joys and concerns this morning. And for those who haven't spoken but have joys and sorrows, we hold you in our hearts also.
We are going to be reading a beautiful poem, but I'd like to issue a content warning that this could be triggering for those because of its sexual nature. Thank you. The poem of the story is called Home by Warsan Shire. No one leaves home unless home is the mouth of a shark. You only run for the border when you see the whole city running as well. Your neighbors running faster than you, breath bloody in their throats. The boy you went to school with who kissed you dizzy behind the old tin factory. He is now holding a gun bigger than his body. You only leave home when home won't let you stay. No one leaves home unless home chases you. You fire under feet, hot blood in your belly. It's not something you ever thought of doing until the blade burnt threats into you. And even then you carried the anthem under your breath, only tearing up your passport in an airport toilet, sobbing as each mouthful of paper made it clear that you wouldn't be going back. You have to understand that no one puts their children in a boat unless the water is safer than the land. No one burns their palms under trains, beneath carriages. No one spends days and nights in the stomach of a truck feeding on newspaper unless the miles traveled means something more than journey. No one crawls under fences, and no one wants to be beaten or pitied. No one chooses refugee camps or strip searches where your body is left aching, or prison because prison is safer than a city of fire, and one prison guard in the night is better than a truckload of men who look like your father. No one could take it. No one could stomach it. No one skin would be tough enough. Go home, blacks, refugees, dirty immigrants, asylum seekers sucking our country dry. Niggers with their hands out, they smell strange, savage, messed up their country, and now they want to mess up ours. How do the words, the dirty looks roll off your backs? Maybe the blow is softer than the limb torn off. Or the words are more tender than 14 men between your legs, or the insults are easier to swallow than rubble, then bone, then your child body in pieces. I want to go home,
But home is the mouth of a shark. Home is the barrel of a gun. And no one would leave home unless home chased you to the shore, unless home told you to quicken your legs. Leave your clothes behind, crawl through the desert, wade through the oceans, drown. Save me for hunger, beg, forget your pride. Your survival is more important. No one leaves home until home is a sweaty voice in your ear saying, leave, run away from me now. I don't know what I've become, but I know that anywhere is safer than here.
Incredibly powerful poem. This is now time to share our gifts, and the project that we're supporting this month is the Food Project. The Food Project is a nonprofit organization committed to bringing youth together from urban neighborhoods of Boston and surrounding suburbs in order to build a sustainable food systems. With farms in Lincoln, Roxbury, and Lynn, a multicultural team of teens are hired every summer to plant, tend, and harvest crops, to staff farmers markets and manage CSAs, community-supported agriculture. My daughter, now 43, almost 44, participated as a 16-year-old when the project was still new. Kate would tell you that this was one of the most formative experiences of her life. So please give generously.
This next song is a call for peace that was written in the 1960s and 70s in the regions of Israel and Palestine, written by the Israeli defense minister at the time. It was actually not allowed to be performed by the Israeli army forces because of its call for peace and because of its peaceful nature. And so you can find the translation for this listed in your bulletin.
Supporting asylum seekers started a number of years ago when people were leaving Central America to Mexico across the Rio Grande with the hope of reaching the United States. We all remember those children in cages. That got SAS into gear. Some of us are doing the work through our local representatives and state senators to bring forth important bills that will help our families get more security through legislation, such as to support their getting a driver's license. SAS members helped a family from Mexico trying to find their way in this country. They were lucky enough to be married by our own Reverend Cindy, and they are now living on their own in the Southwest. We're checking that one off. With a plea from Laura Wagner of UU Mass Action, we, alone with the Natick Lutheran Church, got a homeless man in Worcester into a shelter. This led to his getting a job and ultimately getting himself his own private room. On to a request from the Spanish American Center through Susie O'Brien to assist a family of 4 from Honduras find their way. We're so very lucky to have you here today. Many, many FPC people have provided them with work, both inside and outside of their homes. They are now in an apartment in Leominster and continue their close relationship with many of us as they work through their legal issues. And so our work continues. More to come. We are now gratefully helping 2 organizations, which you'll hear more about today. Now, we're getting ready to assist in any way we can for the thousands, maybe millions, escaping the horrors of Ukraine.
So I'm so happy to introduce you to John and Karen Lopez. John John Lemos and Karen Lopez Belize, and their daughters Gianna and Zoe, who are now downstairs playing with Pat Sorn and Justin Marble. I met this family in May 2021 and was immediately drawn to them and became committed to helping them in their adjustment to life in the U.S. John, Karen, Gianna, and Zoe crossed the southern border in April 2021 with nothing. They had endured a harrowing trip from their home country of Honduras and arrived at the border traumatized and sick. They left home due to repeated threats and harassment from gangs operating in their city. The gangs wanted John to do their bidding, and he refused. At the border, they were arrested by Border Patrol, but soon released. They traveled by bus to Boston and ultimately Leominster, Mass. It's been almost a year since they arrived, and despite setbacks and challenges, they are housed, healthy, and getting enough work to pay their monthly expenses. They are a very special family, hopeful, funny, we laugh a lot, dedicated to one another, and always grateful to those who have helped them. Everyone is learning English. An immigration attorney specializing in asylum cases is currently working on their case. Although there is only a 50% chance that they will be granted asylum, we are hopeful. John will be speaking for a few minutes about the family's hopes and dreams for the future. And I will be reading in English what he says. John?
Okay. Oh, okay. All right.
John Lemos.
Yeah.
My friend.
Hi, nice to meet you, everybody. I'm Jan. I'm from Honduras. My wife's Karen is down. I'm very happy in singing in here with all people. I say thank you, everybody. So I learn in Spanish for now, and next to me, Susan in English. Ok, dice, buenos días, primeramente dándole gracias a Dios por estar nuevamente reunidos y a ustedes por la cordial invitación. En esta mañana vengo a contarles un poco de nuestros sueños y esperanzas aquí en los Estados Unidos. Uno de mis sueños, después de lo que pasó, era mantener a mi familia a salvo y gracias a Dios, hoy estamos acá con ese sueño hecho realidad. Mi anhelo es que Dios siempre me dé salud y trabajo para seguir adelante con mi familia y podamos tener una oportunidad de vivir legalmente y tranquilos en este país. Esperamos próximamente tener la oportunidad de ganar la petición de asilo y así poder estar tranquilos y hacer de nuestras vidas y futuro con normalidad. Cerrando el capítulo de nuestra historia, dándole gracias a cada uno de ustedes que nos han apoyado siempre. Sin ustedes esto no sería posible. Cada uno de ustedes hacen que este mundo y nuestra familia esté mejor. Gracias, familia Lemus López.
First of all, thank God for being together again, and thanks to you for the cordial invitation. This morning, I come to tell you a little bit about our dreams and hopes here in the United States. One of my dreams and wishes after what happened was to keep me and my family safe. And thank God we are here today with that dream come true. My wish is that God always gives me health and work to move forward with my family, and we can have an opportunity to live legally and peacefully in this country. We hope soon to have the opportunity to win an asylum request and thus be able to be calm and be able to lead our lives and futures normally. Closing the chapter of our history giving thanks to each of you who have always supported us. Without you, this would not be possible. Each of you make this world and our family better. Thank you. The family Lemos Lopez.
Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning to all you 11 o'clock people, and to you guests, and to all of you on Zoom. My name is Suri, and I want to tell you a little bit about our work of our SAS task force with evacuees from Afghanistan. Last August, when the U.S. pulled out of Afghanistan, we evacuated about 60,000 Afghans and families who had helped the U.S. cause in their country in so many different ways. They were brought initially to the United States military bases abroad, and then later were relocated to bases in the United States as they awaited placement around our country. It became obvious that a lot of help was needed to accomplish that work, and the SAS team wanted to be part of that help given. Not to reinvent the wheel, we sought local groups doing this kind of work. We found that a group in Acton was taking shape. We aligned with them, and we formed the Acton and Stowe interfaith group to support Afghan refugees. Other members of the team are the Apple Valley Catholic Collaborative, which is St. Isidore's in Stowe, and St. Elizabeth's in Acton. Also from Acton, we're combined with the South Acton Congregational Church, that's UCC, St. Matthew's Methodist Church, UMC, Church of Good Shepherd Episcopal, and also the Trinity Chapel in Shirley. That's 7 in all. A woman named Phyllis Coven is our leader, and she's from the South Acton Church. Again, not to reinvent the wheel, our interfaith group aligned with IINE. That's the International Institute of New England, and many of you might be familiar with them. They work, IINE contracts with the U.S. government to bring people from the bases into local communities. Mostly the families are relocated in Lowell. IINE secures apartments and furnishings. They also provide ESL, English as a second language, training, as well as legal aid, and they help the Afghans who can find employment. FPC members have donated many household items through IINE. I know we've donated rice cookers, microwaves, kitchen utensils, household goods, and cleaning supplies, consumables. We have also volunteered with our time to IINE to provide ESL, to make food deliveries, and to do apartment setup work. But the interfaith group has done more. We've also helped the ICNA, that's the Islamic Circle of North America. Their relief arm has been running monthly food pantries at the Mosque of Lowell, which is actually just across the border in Chelmsford. Since November, FPC has been procuring and delivering food each month to the mosque, while ICNA gets qualified for other financial support. Churches of the interfaith group alternate monthly paying for the food. Again, your FPC contributions have been very central to this work. FPC paid for the food in November and will again in the month of April. Those of us who have delivered food to the Afghan families at their apartments have received our own rewards for the effort. We meet families with small children, as well as we have met single men who have left their families behind in Afghanistan. Some speak English, and many do not. They have worked for the U.S. Army, the U.S. Marines, and the U.S. Consulate, among others. They have skills as varied as helicopter mechanics and accountants, and even communication press specialist. But the families are a real treat for us. They often have 4 to 6 children, and many come out to receive the food donations. All of the recipients are thankful beyond belief, and some have invited us in for tea. Grandmas amongst us, that's right here. Grandmas amongst us keep a bag of toys in the car, which brings giggles and laughter from the children. These thanks that we received are because of you here at FPC. The work continues with the Afghan immigrants, but now Mary Evans will describe a very new and very exciting project being planned by the interfaith group. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. As Roy mentioned, Supporting Asylum Seekers has a second work group that formed to assist Afghan evacuees. We work with a wider interfaith partnership of the 7 churches. We have exciting news to present that this interfaith partnership voted unanimously to support a family from Afghanistan. Each church among this partnership has pledged to provide 2 or more congregants to join this work group. We have 4 from FPC who have signed on. As Roy mentioned, Afghan evacuees come into the U.S. through military bases and are assigned a government-supported program, which is the IINE. We have committed to supporting and working with this family for 1 year. We do not know when the family will arrive, but imagine it will be this spring. We are now putting out a call to action to First Parish to join us as we embark on our mission to support those who are yearning to become citizens of the United States. What can you do? ESL training is desperately needed for Afghan evacuees who need to learn English so they can use their skills to get a job and become self-supporting. There are legislative priorities, and UU Mass Action has a lot of clear information about that on their website and how you can get involved. We need to support the Safe Communities Act, and we need to support the Work and Family Mobility Act. Massachusetts is very behind. There's 14 other states who have driver's license for undocumented workers. And it's very shocking to me that we're Massachusetts and we haven't done it yet. Both the Honduran work group and the Afghan work group can always use your help. Our Honduran family are always ready to take on any work projects you have around the home or elsewhere. John and Karen are creative and hardworking. Transportation is a high need as well for our family. And unlike other evacuees and asylum seekers, we don't have a system for people coming out of South and Central America. And this is really where, as Unitarian Universalists, we are on the forefront because we are working without a system. And I know that's something that we're all very strong at doing, being on the cutting edge. Reach out to Steve Evans or Susie O'Brien if you're interested in joining us in this joyful work. Thank you for your time this morning.
Please join us in our closing hymn, number 155, Circle Round for Freedom. We'll sing it once on the melody, and then we'll do the whole thing again, and you can make up any part you want. Feel free to join and join us.
Let's take this moment to be mindful and thankful, not only for what we have, but for what we can share. If we have a home and safety, if we are where we choose to be, if we are with a family or community that cares for us and for each other. Let's take this moment to be mindful and thankful, not only for what we have, but for what we can share and for hope that we can make things better.
Prelude for today is a Bulgarian folk song called Susie. This is a song that speaks to a community that's built around music, and the kavo, which is an instrument that gets played in the square.
Korman. Končeto, štego jubaj, štego jubaj, ti, 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 dopadnej, ako mi je, ja bančiček, štego jubaj, jubaj. Ako mi je, ja bančiček, štego jubaj, do život, na balský